Like most people doom scrolling on TikTok, I come across these TikTok shop sellers and think to myself, that's a nice little side hustle. And then I came across a channel called Aira House of Perfume. And then I thought to myself, who the hell buys perfume online? Well, it turns out a lot of you do. Because only 18 months ago, Naima Yusuf, the owner of Aira House of Perfume, was a midwife for the NHS, delivering babies and running teams. But what happened next is nothing short of an entrepreneur's dream. Within just 6 months of launching a TikTok shop, her momentum was so undeniable, the growth so explosive, she made the life-changing decision to leave a secure job with the National Health Service and concentrate on her TikTok shop full-time. Today, we talk to Naima Yusuf, her leap of faith, the reality behind selling live and running a TikTok shop, and more importantly, on growing your channel. How did she turn her side hustle into a main hustle? So today on your local entrepreneur podcast, we speak to Naima Yusuf, owner of Aira House of Perfume. I've seen your lives. I've seen you sell perfumes.
That's
I guess.
right.
Yeah, I've seen it's perfumes and ouds and like Dubai inspired, or they.
So they're created in Dubai, and we created a market space for them to be in the UK.
And then I'm like, one of the first things that kind of drew me was selling a product which typically a person would need to smell or feel and so forth. But you've made a great job of selling this online.
Thank you.
So, I mean, it kind of like draws me into my first kind of question, which is, well, no, before I go there, actually, let's start off with the journey.
Okay.
So what were you doing before this? And how did you cross over into this world of TikTok?
So I'm actually a midwife by trade. I've been a midwife since I was 18 years old. It's all I ever knew and all I thought I would ever do. I have been a midwife for 22 years, qualified, and raised through the ranks pretty quickly in midwifery. But I was looking for something different. I guess people change over time, and midwifery is quite a taxing job. And I just thought I need to look for something different, build something of my own. And I've always had a love for perfumes anyway, and always enjoyed Middle Eastern perfumes and thought, hang on a second, there's a gap here. There's something that I can do. And thought, let's just give it a go and see how it goes. And that's how TikTok was born.
And I mean, how long ago was that then?
18 months.
18 months.
18 months. It's been a whirlwind since then.
So are we saying like literally in the last 18 months, you've built a business that you can totally remove yourself from your former job?
Yeah.
To doing this completely full time?
Absolutely.
Hell of a journey.
It's been crazy. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been roller coasters, there's been doubt, there's been success, but it's all part of the journey, and I've been learning every step of the way. I'm not a business-minded person. I'm not an entrepreneur-minded person. I just wanted to try something new, and it kind of just blew up, which is incredible. And so if I can do it, anyone can literally do it.
I wanted to know, though, obviously, working with the NHS as a midwife, it's considered a very stable job, I suppose.
Yes.
So what was it that kind of helped you cut off a regular stable income with annual leave and all the things that come with it to going out into the wilderness of eating what you can sell, I suppose? I think there's another term for it, just going out into the wild world.
I think that was part of it, the stability and the consistency of a job. And I live around away from my family, so I don't have a support network around me to help with the children or the village, if you like. And so I made a lot of sacrifice with my children, with time, with working shifts for many years, then going into an office-style job where I was a governance midwife for one of the local NHS trusts, which was very taxing emotionally, mentally, physically. Have to prioritise work sometimes over family. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to find something that I could build for myself, have something to show for it at the end, and maybe even something to hand over to my children. And after 22 years, you start getting to a stage in your life where you think, what next? What now? Is this it? Am I supposed to do this for the rest of my life? I wasn't coming up to a pensionable age for a long time, and I just wanted something different. I wanted something new. I wanted something not joyful, but not as emotionally taxing as midwifery can be. You start hitting walls on how much of yourself you can give to others. And being a midwife or being a nurse is a very selfless job. So yes, you get paid a salary. It's not a brilliant salary. It's certainly not enough to live on in a busy household with children. And but it's a salary. It pays the bills. But it's also the other things that you don't see that the job takes from you. And I just wanted to try something new. I don't know what it was about perfumes that sparked a beginning, but I saw people on TikTok before and I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. And so I just dove right in to feet first.
And was this your first ever business?
Yes.
Wow.
Never done anything like this before.
Was there anything from midwifery? Is that a word?
Yes.
Was there anything from midwifery that you could say helped you adapt into this business world? I mean, yeah, I'm guessing as a midwife, you have moments of absolute urgency and moments you have to think on your feet and moments of crisis management. So was there anything like that you could say you took from a midwife into becoming into this world of business?
One thing the NHS aren't very good at is developing their staff to believe that they can go on to do other things. And so you kind of grow into thinking that midwifery is all it is, and I don't really have any skills to do anything else. What I found is that's absolutely not true. I taught in midwifery, so I already have public speaking experience and presentation experience. You do deal with a lot of crisis management and thinking on your feet. And to be honest, when you're in a life or death crisis situation, nothing else really compares to that. So everything else in the business world seems kind of lesser of a crisis, if you like. So you find yourself actually being really good at dealing with pressure and dealing with situations that you've never found yourself in there, because actually you're not on a time constraint as such. You don't have minutes to deal with something. So those kinds of problem solving skills were already very useful. Also, I'm like to think I'm generally a nice person, and so having a joyful personality, somebody who can strike up a conversation with strangers, is definitely very, very useful on TikTok. Because although you might not be speaking to someone in front of you, you're definitely speaking to someone directly. And that's why I do live shows, because I feel comfortable talking to people. And so people skills came into handy, and creating relationships out of nowhere. So what I found actually was happening was people were relating to me, becoming friends, and now I have a group of friends from TikTok who I've never met, and they're online friends, but they know everything about me and I know everything about them, and I would say they're some of my closest friends right now, which is incredible. So what I would say is every person has their own skill set. You just have to find it to make it adapt to what you need it for.
And I'm guessing there was a period where you were balancing both things. You were doing the TikTok thing on the side and you were working.
Yes.
And then I'm guessing that had its own stresses and pressures.
Yes.
And then when was that decision to cut the other off, where you decided to go full time? I'm guessing that was a huge decision for you to make. So what helped you make that decision? And how did you feel about taking that absolute leap of faith?
So the first few months of TikTok Shop were actually really tricky, really difficult to navigate. I wasn't a natural in front of the camera. I couldn't apply my skills because it just felt so surreal sitting in front of a camera and basically having a conversation with yourself. And there were some lives where I had nobody watching my live, and it would be me and my husband just messaging each other through the live, and it was absolutely hilarious. And I must admit, I always just saw it as a side hustle. I never really thought it would become a fully fledged business. About 3 months in, TikTok emailed me and asked if I would like an account manager because they saw potential in what I was doing and wanted to support that journey. And so I grabbed that opportunity with both hands, and my account manager really helped me to grow and showed me and taught me about marketing and business management, which I'd never known about before. And so I found myself learning on the go, applying new skills to the situation, and it got to a point where I was doing a full day at work, coming home, having a quick coffee, and then diving straight into a TikTok live for 2 hours, and then figuring out between myself and my husband, who's been the biggest support and the person who actually helped me get started and gave me the confidence to say, you can do this. We kind of figured it out between us, and then just grew from there. It got to a point where I had to really have a chat with myself and say, which one are you getting more out of? Not just financially, because at that point I wasn't at a point where I could get a full wage from my TikTok shop. But it got to a point where I was benefiting mentally from TikTok shop and the people around me on TikTok shop compared to what I was within the NHS as my job as a midwife, particularly as a risk and governance midwife, where you're surrounded by not the very nice, joyful, happy baby, happy mother kind of situation. And it was really affecting my mental health at that point. I was really struggling to cope. There were lots of changes going on in my team, and I just found myself doing a lot of work in my own time. And as much as I would love to have said, I will be a midwife till the day I retire, it just wasn't physically possible for me. And so I made the decision, a very sad decision, actually. It was very emotional. It was not easy walking away from something that I literally spent my entire life building and working on. Walking away from that connection I had with women, supporting women, helping women, believing that I would make change in the world. But I found that actually I could bring joy and support to women in a different way. And so I guess that was the turning point when I just thought, actually, I need to think about myself for once. And I think as women, particularly in the generation that I grew up in, we're very selfless. We're taught we can do it all. We can have it all. We can have the children, the nice house, the lovely career, be the perfect housewife, and balance it all. And actually, it's just not possible. And that was the talk I had to have with myself. You have to draw the line. You have to look after yourself. Because if you can't, then you can't look after the people around you. And my family are the most important people to me. And TikTok was a way that I could work from home, set my own terms, go on holiday whenever I wanted to, not have to answer to the system, essentially, but still find benefit in the job and still support women. And so that's where I've found myself.
Could you see yourself doing this if TikTok didn't exist?
That's a tricky one. My sister actually started TikTok shop before I did, and she was a little bit of a catalyst as well, I suppose, because I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. Would I probably not. I think TikTok was the spark. I think the platform where you can buy on the platform directly, you don't have to leave it to purchase, where you're given information by a real person who is testing the perfume. You're also seeing other people's opinions on the product as well. It's such an amazing platform. It just brings so much opportunity, and you basically have the entire nation at your fingertips, essentially. You just have to know how to wield it. And I think that's been the learning curve.
I see TikTok Shop, when they started releasing the function or the feature to buy via the platform, it was like this mesh of QVC, Amazon, just on steroids.
I mean, that's exactly it. You have a wide audience and I think the good thing about the TikTok algorithm is that it watches who watches you and who you resonate with, and then pushes your content out there. And if your content isn't resonating with your customers, they just won't push it. It's very cutthroat that way as well. So I will have videos that do really terribly, and then I will have this random video that I took 30 seconds making, and it'll go viral and I'll get 600,000 views. And you're just trying to figure out what was the formula, what made that happen. And there is absolutely no rhyme or reason to it. After doing it for this long, I can categorically say there is no secret formula to going viral. And it just depends. It depends on the day. It depends on even the time of day that you post your video, who watches it, who engages with it, and there it goes. And you'll wake up the next morning and think, blimey, how did that happen? But it just does. It just happens.
And when you started getting your first, do you remember how long it was between you setting up and you getting your first sale?
I actually got my first sale on my first live.
Oh.
I got my first 2 sales on my first live, which I wasn't expecting really, and I don't think I was quite ready for it. But the first month was amazing. I think I made probably less than £1,000 of sales in my first month, and I was elated. I just thought, wow, if this is where I started, imagine where it could go. And we've just been growing ever since. I don't think I've had a month where I've had a less income compared to the month before since I've started. So it's just been building and building and building. The first year was a gradual build. The last 6 months have been absolutely insane. I can't even comprehend how quickly growth has happened. And I suppose it's the same as any business. You build trust, you build loyalty, you build a commerce marketplace where people know what kind of service they're going to get from you, and so they come back to you. And that's really where I've been concentrating, is customer service, customer satisfaction, bringing products that my customers want and listening to them, creating relationships with them. And that's what lives help you do. And I don't think there's any other platform like TikTok where you can connect with your customers in the same way. And so that's why I think TikTok has been the best platform to do it on. I actually am not even on any other social media
You're purely just
platforms
on
at the
TikTok
moment.
channel.
I'm just on TikTok Shop. That will be changing. We are building a website. We're almost ready. I think we are ready. I think we had our first sale on our website yesterday.
Sounds like you're ready.
Which is brilliant. So it's ready. And I will be starting an Instagram page as well. It's just navigating everything and finding the time, and then thinking, actually, there's something else for me to learn, which is actually really super exciting, but also really scary at the same time. And then being able to visualize growth is really difficult for me as well, not coming from a business background and not knowing what to expect or what projection should be, and then using terms like projection. Like I don't really talk like this in my real life, so all of a sudden I sound like a completely different person. But yeah, I'm just going with the flow, as crazy as that sounds.
And how long do you reckon it was between you starting your TikTok shop and it becoming a possibility that you could just go full time with it?
I knew in the first month.
Within the first month?
In the first month, I knew there was a possibility. I didn't know how long it would take, but within 6 months for sure, I'd already made the decision.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, was it almost... I know when you hit that first 1,000, and I'll be honest, like with every business, the minute your first couple of sales happen, no matter how small they are, it's always a rush of like, this works.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to a stage where the numbers of what you're doing almost scared you a little bit? Like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with quite a lot now. Like, did you have a pinch moment where you had to pinch yourself as to see like these are real numbers in front
Every
of me?
month. Every month. As the growth, like going from one number to the next, I was just floored. Like, how is this happening? Really? Do people trust me that much? And I suppose it's very difficult for me as someone who is very close or was very close to their job to then stand back from it and say, actually, it's just business. It doesn't belong to me, essentially. It'll grow or it'll have troughs and peaks. I find it very difficult to separate myself from the business. And so every win is super personal, as well as every loss or every refund request. I'm still like, oh my God, why do they want a refund? And I take things very, very personally. So I've had to learn how to say, actually, it's not personal. It's just a product. It's really not that deep. You haven't dropped anyone's baby this time. But it's amazing. I do. Every moment is a pinch moment. I suppose up until about 3 or 4 months ago, I was literally waiting on every sale as well. And every time my phone pinged to say, congratulations, you've made a sale, it was like a mini celebration inside. Because I'm still at that point where I can't quite believe this is happening. And so every day something new happens to pinch me and wake me up.
I mean, how long did you think of going live straight away, or was it like
Yeah.
post first?
So I went live first and started posting afterwards. I don't know what made me do that. I suppose I used to watch other people's lives and just think they were amazing. And it did very much feel like QVC. And it is. And it's no different to any other advertisement on TV. Like you see an advertisement for a shampoo and, dandruffy scalp and whatnot. It's exactly the same. It's just not a famous person doing it. And it's me from my living room. So actually, it is just marketing. Lives are just live marketing. And it's a way for somebody to ask you a question. So you could pretend you're standing in a shop and asking the same questions. And so you have that personal experience, but from sitting in your living room, which I just think is incredible. And I think it really is a very successful strategy.
Now, judging from what you're saying, before this, you wasn't really putting any content out there.
No.
So because there's a lot of people who kind of get stuck at the point of creating content. Shall I do it? Shall I not do it? What will so and so think about it? Oh, my brother might see this, or my cousin might see this. I mean, we have these constant thoughts about who might see this content, who might laugh at me, and so forth. Did you have any of those sort of feelings? And if you did, how did you kind of push through judgment, I suppose?
I mean, of course I did. Like anyone would. We're all human. We are all afraid of being judged and how we look on the camera. And I'm still not brave enough to go on a live without a filter on or without makeup on. Like I have to be fully done up to go on a live or to create content. And I did at first. I was very, very weary of judgment. Who's going to see me? What are they going to think? What are they going to say? And I just thought, actually, people are judging you anyway. Whether you put yourself out there or not, people are judging you. And they have no bearing on your life. And so go for it. What's the worst that's going to happen? And so I did. And I look back at some of my earlier content and I cringe at how bad it was. And I think, should I delete that off my TikTok shop? And I think, no, that's where I started. And so if you go on my TikTok profile and see some of my earlier, weird CapCut videos, and compared to what I post now, which is snippets from my live shows, which is me real talking, making mistakes, saying the ums and the ahs and saying things wrong or forgetting what I'm supposed to be saying. It just makes it very human and very real and very relatable. And I think the balance between doing lives, posting content, having more structured marketing is the key. It's getting a bit of everything, and so not just relying on just one avenue. I think that's a success with TikTok.
So I'm guessing now can you make content off the cuff now without a second thought?
Literally. So I'll just decide, oh, that looks like a good opportunity. So I wear perfume every day anyway, so why wouldn't I make a little bit of content about what I'm wearing that day and show people what I'm wearing and why I chose to wear it. Perfume specifically has a lot of emotion attached to it, a memory, a favourite scent, how it makes you feel. I'm very much I wear perfume based on my mood, so I'll pick specific things. And so if I can share that with my audience and somebody relates to me, then that's just a new relationship I've created.
I think with TikTok, I find people are more authentic. I find other platforms where, they're a bit more polished, like LinkedIn, for example, and, Instagram to some extent. So was it hard to balance a level of authenticity versus this camera persona? Because you very much are, from my own experience of meeting you and speaking to you, you really are the same person I see on the TikTok page.
At first, it was very robotic. I thought I needed a script, so I would have, it was hilarious, I would have my husband holding up a script for me to talk about a certain perfume. That was back in the day when I had like 15 products in my shop. And actually, people couldn't relate to me, so I didn't have good views. I didn't have lots of people on my lives. The minute I switched to just being me and giving my feel of a perfume rather than what the fragrance notes consist of, that was the days my views started getting higher. And so I went from having, say, 15 or 20 people on a live to over 100 people on a live. Also, knowing your strategy, looking at pricing is the only thing on TikTok that I would say is the most challenging aspect of selling. Because there are people on TikTok that will sell very similar products to yours at a very cut price rate, actually not a fair market value price. And so for you who are trying to build a value and a brand, it's really difficult to compete with something like that. So knowing that kind of strategy while being your authentic self, and standing in front of camera and just being you and not a made up personality, it's easier to maintain as well. And so you end up building a brand on you as a person because you're not going to change. You are that personality, and that builds authenticity and trust.
Because I know of other sort of businesses or even business owners that they'll see a price fluctuate on one of their products and like, oh my God, we're selling it for X amount and someone there's doing it for half of what we're doing. And I've seen it affect some people's pricing. Like, for example, they'll think, oh, well, let's just match them on it. But how has it been for you when you saw one of your products, you're selling at a certain price and somebody else is completely undercutting the market, which again, for me, I think is the most laziest way of doing business. Like, it's the race to the bottom, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how does it affect you? Does it affect your pricing, or do you find of sticking to your guns and be like, no, I'm not changing and this is how it's going to be? And has it affected sales to some extent?
So we've had to find a balance. I will say we were quite reactionary early on, but you learn. And for me, it's not just about making a quick sale. For me, it's more about respecting the brand, building a brand, and also having consistency for my customers. If I was to just sell something at, say, £25 one day and then slash the price to 17 the next, the person that bought it the day before is going to get really upset with me. And so that's not what I'm out there to achieve. I want to create a fair market space that respects the brand so that the brand will want to work with me again in the future. I want to only sell authentic products sourced from reputable distributors. I also want to bring things to the market that others don't have, that aren't easily available, and help those brands grow in the UK, because I also think that's really important. So I might have been a bit reactionary in the past, but I've learnt from that, and I now try and stay as consistent as I can. The good thing about TikTok is they have campaigns which they market the heck out of, and so it means that customers will know that they will be able to get some bargains, say at the end of the month, because, for example, at the end of this month is the summer sale, which is the lowest price campaign that TikTok have, and so sellers are able to do their clearance sales at that point, and customers are going to be expecting it. So if you're a customer who is waiting for that deal, you'll wait until the end of the month. But I also have customers who are perfume collectors, who don't really care about the bottom line, and they just want the product because it's their passion and they collect and they love what they do, and so they will purchase a product at the retail value and respect that. So I suppose it's finding a balance, just like everything else.
And when TikTok Shop initially started, they were quite aggressive in they were like giving crazy offers to sellers to get them going. And then I heard from another seller who was like, TikTok were discounting my products online, and he was like, I gave them no authorization to do this, but TikTok was still taking the hit, you could say, and still paying the full amount to the seller.
Yes. So they're called TikTok vouchers, and you have to get your head around it, because at first I was not very happy with it. But then actually I thought, ride the wave. I don't see my business as just being a TikTok shop business for the foreseeable future. And I don't think TikTok want you to just be a TikTok seller either. TikTok are partnering with Shopify. They also allow you to put up your Instagram profile on your TikTok shop page. They want you to grow as a business. And I think they're very, very good at helping new sellers particularly grow and build a feasible business outside of TikTok shop as well. I don't think TikTok's going to be there forever. I'm not naive. For me, it's about riding the wave. Also, a customer's going to absolutely love it when TikTok shop gives them discount vouchers, but I make it very, very clear that that's not my discount, and it's a discount from TikTok shop, so that they will benefit as a customer and I will also benefit as a brand. So my customers are very, very aware of that. I'm very open with them about the whole process and what decisions I make with TikTok, or what decisions TikTok make themselves. I think so long as you're clear and open and honest, you're not disrespecting the brand, and it is just part of what comes with TikTok shop.
Even in the beginning or even now, obviously, what advice would you give to someone who is trying to, I mean, even your own experience of sourcing a good supplier? Because you'll always have the guys or gals who are selling the cheap knockoff of said product versus the guy who is actually selling an authentic brand, but it's actually it kind of cuts into your markup and things like that. So how did you find navigating this stream of distributors in your business?
So that's actually not a tricky question at all, because there is a legal way to purchase these products and get them in the UK. You have every brand in the UAE will have a distributor in the UK who is authorised to sell products within the UK. If you purchase outside of these distributors, you are breaking the law. And so we will only ever purchase our products directly through an authorised distributor. And that authorised distributor will be able to give you a certificate of authorisation to be able to sell on other platforms or sell on. And if a brand cannot, or if a distributor can't give you that certificate, they're not an authorised distributor. So everything we sell, we have authorization certificates to sell. We've also had other brands from Dubai watching our lives and reaching out through to us on our live.
Wow.
Which is incredible. I was mind blown the first time that happened. I literally had a mini heart attack. It was insane. And one of the brands that we work with are Al Absar, which are some of the nicest people I have ever worked with my entire life. They are so responsive and so kind and genuinely want to do well for their customers. And so they don't have a UK distributor at the moment. So I had to navigate the world of importing products and learning about the whole legal side of that. And I think if you're just very methodical and do your research, and you're not in it just to make a quick buck, and you're actually wanting to build something authentic and future-proof, then you have to do the work. You have to do the legwork. You have to go through the proper channels. And yes, you might not make the biggest margin or the most sales, but you're doing something properly that you can sustain over a long period of time. These there are a lot of counterfeit products on TikTok shop. You have to be very, very wary of where you're purchasing from. So my top tips would be, look at the seller's shop rating. We're a 4.8 rated store or House of Perfume, which means we are better than 96% of other TikTok shops, which is just an incredible achievement on its own. My husband is absolutely insane at trying to get packages out either the same day or the day before. So that's his little thing that makes him feel like he's doing the best for our customers. It also goes on customer reviews, and the good thing about TikTok is you can't put up fake reviews. So only people that have had verified purchases are able to put up a review, and so your customers will tell you whether you're selling a good product or not. And then it's also any violations you have on your store. So TikTok are very good at checking up on if you have the correct paperwork. but it is all AI based, so it can take some time. So if you can prove that you're selling an authorized product, you won't have any violations on your shop. We have 0 violations on our shop. So if you see the star seller logo on TikTok Shop, you know that you're buying from a trusted seller. So if you find something that seems too good to be true, a little bit too cheap, it probably is, and I would stay away from something like that. Also, if you're putting your face on live and you're showing your customer, I am who you're purchasing from, that's a very good way of knowing that you're purchasing from somebody real and you're not just purchasing something that shouldn't be sold.
Scaling the business. So obviously, the temptation of, obviously, as your business grows, you have a bit more margin. So the temptation to think, oh, that's a good month for a month. We'll, I don't know, go buy a holiday or go shopping, or we find ways of spending this excessive amount of money. So when it came to scaling the shop, was you continually just reinvesting and building and building and building? And did that take a lot of discipline?
Yes. So I actually probably went the other way, and I didn't spend on myself at all. So I didn't give myself a wage until just a couple of months ago, because I was very intent on growth. And so every bit of money that we made was reinvested back into the business, which also meant that we went from a product line of starting with 10 to now having over 170 products in our store. So yes, we grew very, very quickly. And yes, I made a lot of sacrifices along the way, but that's paid off in the long term. I've also had to learn that my time is worth something. And so I have started giving myself a wage. We also started in our living room and now have had to move out of home because it absolutely took over our house. So we have other costs now for warehouse space, etc. And staff as well, which is amazing. I never thought I'd have staff, but I have staff, which is just brilliant. And I suppose I'm just really excited to see what the future holds. I have to strategize now, I think, and stop spending and making some sort of a profit. But it's just, like I said, I'm not a businesswoman. I'm just figuring it out as I go.
So, I mean, so in retrospect, so knowing what you know now, is there anything you do different in the setup or in the management of the business?
Believing in myself, I think, is number one. I suppose working in a job like midwifery, you're very selfless. I didn't used to think of it that way before, but it's a very self-sacrificing job. You don't think about yourself at all. You'll literally bend over backwards to give to your woman. You will break your back, and many midwives have broken backs, literally broken backs, for supporting their women in labour. And so you kind of get this idea that actually if you're not doing something for other people, you're being selfish, which is a really toxic mindset to have. So number one, I think I would believe in myself and allow myself to be important. That builds confidence. And if without confidence, I don't think TikTok Shop will be successful. So believe in yourself, number one. Number two, be ready for growth and quick growth. So have a space ready rather than being reactionary and trying to find things as you grow, which is basically what we've been doing. So, finding a warehouse space that we think, oh yeah, we'll never grow into this. And then 6 weeks later, we're spilling out the sides and we have to then find a new place. So actually being able to visualize growth or like in the next year. So I think that's really important. And second is just go all in. Just take the risk, take the plunge, go all in, because you'll surprise yourself at what you can achieve.
If somebody's shop, if somebody's shop was stuck at a certain point, I'm not making enough sales, my channel isn't going as well as I thought it would be, is there anything that you would advise that person as to what to tweak to make their chances of profitability or having more sales generated through their channel? Is there anything you would give advice-wise for that?
I know it sounds cheeky, but watch what other people are doing. I think TikTok are very good at giving sellers information, teaching them case studies on which businesses have been successful. So brands like Made by Mitchell were made on TikTok. Made by Mitchell is a makeup brand created by a makeup artist who has now gone international, which is absolutely incredible in the space of a few years. So growth is possible. You just have to have the right strategy. And it's all laid out there on TikTok. Go into your seller center, look at the case studies, engage with the account managers that contact you, talk to other sellers, find out what strategies work for them. You'll always have people that don't want to give out information, keep it tight to their chest, but you'll have people like me who wants to shout about it as loud as I can, and so I'll talk to anybody about it. I also go to all of the TikTok events. I want to network, I want to find my people, I want to find strategies that work for me. And I would also say, just put yourself out there and try things. And if they don't work, you've learnt from them at the very least, and you move on to something else. Just don't be afraid to experiment and learn from others.
And as you, because obviously, since I've seen your channel, I've seen loads of other fragrance channels now popping up. And I'm guessing you've obviously seen now that there's plenty of channels that are now doing the same, similar brands and so forth. So does it ever feel as if, because I know some industries feel as if, oh my gosh, there's too many people doing this now, there's not enough to go around. Did you ever feel like there was a level of scarcity involved when more people enter your market? Or are you completely just unfazed by it now because you're more established?
No, I'm still scared by it every single day, and I will look at my sales like a hawk, and if they've not been as good as the day before, I'm questioning why, what happened, why isn't it working? TikTok like to make you have mini anxiety attacks as well, because they'll change their algorithm every few months, and so you won't get the views and you won't get people coming on your lives like they used to, because they'll stop getting notifications that you're there. I think the biggest thing I've taken away is being consistent and being visible. So the more lives you do, the more your customers see you, the more likely they're going to purchase from you. Also, working on customer experience is the biggest thing. If you have, for example, we pack all our perfumes, we literally like little babies. They're covered in bubble wrap, they're surrounded by packing peanuts, they're in cardboard boxes, they arrive at the customer looking professional. And I've seen other TikTok sellers shoving them in bags and wrapping them with tape and then popping them off. And I wouldn't purchase again. I always bring it back down to what would I want as a customer, what experience would I like. We also do test sales all of every couple of months or so to see what is the actual shipping and delivery service like, how do my products get received by my customers, where can I make improvements there. I will say I wish there were more hours in the day, because there's so much I want to do and so much I want to build on. Of course, saturation is a real concern, and you're right, there are new TikTok shops popping up out of every corner, which is why we're not just putting all our eggs in one basket on TikTok Shop and finding new avenues as well. I'm also concentrating on sourcing brands that aren't easily available. So we have things in place. Yes, it is very scary, but also I'm really excited for the future.
Yeah, I think the level of growth you have, and as you get more busier and have more fellowship and have more regular customers, and I mean, you can see the competition out there, and I guess you can see a lot of them who are not doing it very well. Because I'll be honest, I've seen your lives where you give such an in-depth description of to what to expect from this scent. Because I've always said to myself, I had this conversation with other guys as well, and we're like, dude, have you ever bought a scent online? And we're like, no, I'd never do. I have to go to the shop, I have to spray it and smell it and see how it vibes. But, you know, obviously the challenge of selling online a scent, describing that scent so very well. I mean, how was that for you? Was that natural? How it comes? Because I mean, I've seen it. Because I've seen your lives. You're describing, you know, the flavors and the notes and everything else that comes from it. Did you learn that in the beginning, or was it something that naturally flowed from you?
I think it's really difficult to learn something like that, it has to come from within. You can't make it up because you're on the spot. So I will say I do study. I do study my perfumes. I won't present a perfume until I've had some time to sit with it, wear it myself, and give a personal experience. And I think that's where I'm different from other sellers. So you will have sellers on TikTok who will just read the notes from the manufacturer's website and leave it for the customer to form their own opinion, which is fair. But I want to give my customers my opinion, my personal opinion, not what everybody else is saying, but how I feel about it. What situations I would wear that perfume in, whether I think it's a masculine leaning, feminine leaning, or perfectly unisex perfume, or, you know, how long it lasts on my skin. And then I also make it very, very clear that this is my personal opinion. It doesn't make it fact. No one can give you a fact about their opinion. And I suppose, you know, there's a lot of other people on TikTok talking about the same products as well. So your customer has a wide range of opinions to go from. At the end of the day, you're always going to have that one person who says, you know, you told me it would last 5 hours on my skin and it only lasted 3. And, you know, you just have to learn from that as well and take everything with a pinch of salt. Your product's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. I think for me, it's having a wide range so that people have something. And then also keeping up with trends as well. That's really, really important.
One thing I do see a lot of on TikTok, I do see a lot of the old those videos where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is on the TikTok shop. And it's just like...
Oh, you mean like the perfume Molly May wears?
Yeah. I've seen those ones, and I've seen... Obviously, people do a lot of TikTok shop selling. I know there's a lot of affiliate marketers on there, you know, who are claiming that this product is amazing if you buy from my link and so forth. So I always thought that was reserved for the bigger brands, but can anyone set up affiliates and get other people to sort of sell on your behalf?
Yes, absolutely. So from the word go, as a TikTok shop, you can set up affiliates. I had to do a lot of learning from affiliates as well. At the beginning, you don't really know how to navigate the affiliates out there. You'll have lots and lots of requests. I must get about 50 requests every day. Can you please send me PR? Can you send me free products? And I've learned who resonates with my brand. I want someone who's going to represent my brand, and so I will now hand select those people who I wish to send products to. I'm also very, very clear on the brief. I want them to give their opinion and not just read off a script. I want them to be authentic, and I want them to give their personal experience. And I will also tell my affiliates, if you don't like the product, tell me you don't like it, and don't just post it because you think you're going to make sales on it. I want you to come across as being authentic. That's really important to me. So it's like every other thing. You figure out who fits your niche, and I'm very much building a brand. I'm not just selling products. I want to be a name. I want people to know, if you look at Aura House of Perfume, this is what you should expect from them. I think it's really important to have that level of expectation as a brand, so that you're continually improving your standards.
I mean, I have heard that there are some affiliates who don't own any product at all. They're just full-time affiliates, and that's just what they do, and they make a living from it.
Yes.
Yeah, because at first I thought it was like some clickbaity course seller who's like, oh, you can make a X amount of money as a TikTok affiliate, you know, join my course and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sorry, buddy, this sounds like pish. Because there was the old period of, you know, drop shipping was the big thing. Then it was, affiliate marketing was another big thing. Not so much on TikTok, but it was like on other brands like Amazon and so forth. But are you saying that there are people out there who can make a decent full-time wage just being an affiliate?
More than decent. More than decent.
How decent we're talking?
So, I can't give you numbers. That's not my place to say.
Okay.
But there are massive affiliate sellers on TikTok, and I think the ones that are successful, because I watch them too. I mean, you can't scroll on TikTok without getting an ad for something every 2 or 3 scrolls. And I have purchased from affiliates myself, because as a consumer, I want to know whether that product will fit my lifestyle. Essentially, that's what marketing is. And if I am watching a seller who seems authentic, who seems like they're using the product themselves and can give you an accurate account of their experience using that product, I'm more likely to purchase from them, because it's like, oh, well, somebody else can use it and it works for them, so it's going to work for me as well. So I think it's a really clever strategy, actually. And it also widens your horizons. So if you're able to work with an affiliate seller who, say, has 100,000 followers, you've just reached an entire new market space. I think it's really clever. I also think you need to be quite strategic in how you work with affiliate sellers. And not all the big affiliate sellers will want to work with every brand either. They also want to know that they're working with successful brands who are going to be able to deliver on what they're promising. And so scale is huge for them as well. And if you don't have enough product, they're not going to want to put in the effort to make a video or to sell on their live for you. We do have, there are perfume affiliate sellers who just sell perfume from other shops. And so you're making an income with no risk because you're not having stock. So you don't need a space, you don't need product, you just need somebody else's link.
Although you can't talk numbers, can we talk like in a range?
No, but what I will say is, if I was able to leave my job and I still have a very similar lifestyle, it's worth doing.
Okay. Can someone, I've seen this as well somewhere else. It was their own claim, not mine. And I didn't know if we were talking pish again. But the claim was that they made more in their month than they did on their annual salary.
Yes.
Is that a realistic comment or
Yes.
realistic statement to make?
It is. It won't happen overnight, but it's definitely achievable. But you're talking, you have to be very realistic as well, and not everybody's going to have that same experience. It's about stepping your toe into the market, seeing how you work with it, seeing how it responds to you, and seeing how you can make it grow. Nothing's easy. Nothing's going to come overnight without any work. You have to put in the graft. I work more hours now than I ever did in midwifery, but the difference is they're on my terms. I do it on my terms. So I can still fit in personal life things. I can go to my kids' sports day. I wouldn't have been able to do that as a midwife before. I can go on holiday and say, do you know what, I'll just close the shop for 2 weeks and I'll go on holiday. I wouldn't have been able to do that without requesting annual leave and having it denied, or somebody else has already taken that leave. The financial and lifestyle freedom that owning your own business has is priceless to me at this point, where I want to watch my children grow. I also want some time to myself, but I'm also very, very realistic and aware that you have to put in the graft to get to that point. So no one's saying that you'll sign up for a TikTok shop account tomorrow and in 6 months you'll be making your annual salary in a week. Like that's not feasible. That's not realistic. But can you make money? Yes.
How long do you think someone should kind of plug at it? Like, there's always this thing about, being locked in and just giving everything 100%.
Yeah.
Because I've had this discussion with other people, and I think self-reflectively as well, how often do we really give something 100%? Because I feel as if, like, even some jobs that we do and sometimes even our own businesses or even our own marketing or whatever it is, we never really push it right to the very edge of how well can we do this thing. So assuming someone gives it 100%, how long would you say to them, like, stick out for X amount of time and you should be able to see something happen?
At least 6 months.
That's the bar.
That's the bar.
Consistency of 6 months.
Yeah, and I mean like hard work for 6 months. I mean putting in the hours, putting in the commitment, because you won't see benefit if you don't put it in. You're only as good as yourself. Your business is only worth as much as what you put into it, as far as I'm concerned. That's my experience anyway. I used to say the same thing in midwifery. When you first qualified as a midwife, the first 6 months are literally the hardest. They're the make or break months. That'll be the deciding factor whether you carry on with that career pathway or not. And it's the same for TikTok Shop for me as well. It's the first 6 months. Give it all you've got. Like, take the failures, learn from them, build on it for next time. Try something new. That's your experimenting time. That's you trying to figure out what kind of a business you are, what your niche is, what your product is. Do I need to change my product? Do I need more product? Do I need a bigger range? Do I need to change my sales pitch? Like, what do I need to do to see the success? So I would say a minimum of 6 months, but really I probably have started seeing the benefit a year into it.
Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say now. It's one of the parts I hate. Where was I? I was going to say, but was there anything about, as your channel grew and got more popular, and now people from your own circle must have been like, oh, I saw you on TikTok. What are you doing now? Was that ever not an awkward conversation, but did you start seeing this happen more often? Was anyone, I don't know if you can answer this or not actually, but was anybody dismissive of, oh, you just said it on TikTok, oh, that's easy?
Yeah. I did have a lot of that. And the majority of the feedback is, oh my God, I see you on TikTok. And my response is, why didn't you say hi? Why don't you tell me you're watching? If I've got 100 people on my live, I have no idea who those 100 people are. And my videos have reached, like I said, I've been viral 4 or 5 times now, where we've reached like 500,000 followers or people watching, and I have no idea who those people are unless they tell me who they are. And so if you know me in real life, I mean, I've caught up with childhood friends who I've not seen in 30 years who've said, oh my God, I saw you on TikTok and it made me want to reach out to you, which is amazing. And it felt so good. You will always get the haters. They are there in the woodwork. They will always come out. I had one of our relatives actually say to me, what you're doing is wrong. Putting yourself on the internet for everyone to see. What kind of Muslim woman are you? And honestly, I was gobsmacked at who it came out from. And then I just thought, actually, it's no different from me standing in a shop and serving customers. I used to work with men in an NHS setting, but you thought I was really admirable then. Actually, I'm in the comfort of my own home. I am fully covered, and that's your opinion, and that's okay. And so I thought I'd be really upset by it, but actually it didn't bother me whatsoever. I soon put them straight, if you like, and said, you do you, I'll do me, and that's it. Like, it's fine. I'm not as worried about personal appearances as much as I used to be. I've been a people pleaser my entire life, and part of this whole process of change was to create boundaries for myself and actually put in time to myself and invest in myself. And I can't see anything wrong with self-investment and personal growth. I think it's the best thing I've ever done. So you can come at me with whatever judgment you have, and I'll just smile at you and say, that's fine. Scroll on. If I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine.
Keep
Scroll
scrolling.
along. And if you do know me and you like what I'm doing, say hello, and I will absolutely say hello back to you, and it'll make my day.
So on that note, we'll probably wrap it up now. Just to finish off, if somebody wants to reach you, find you, or watch your page, or buy your perfume, how do they go about doing that?
So you can go onto TikTok Shop and search for Aura House of Perfume. I am the only one there. We also have our website, aurahouseofperfume.com, and we will be starting an Instagram page today, hopefully, which will also be Aura House of Perfume. And you can email us on aurahouseofperfume@gmail.com.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for being with us, Naima. I think we got a lot out of it. I really hope our listeners either find the confidence or develop their business a bit more, and who knows where they can go with it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was easier than I thought it would be.
Of course it is. Just two people having a conversation. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Take care. So, guys, tune in for the next one, and we're out.